TGIF, everybody. Thanks for kickstarting your weekend with us right here on Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale. Good morning. Skip Bayless, Shannon, Sharpe. How are we, guys?
I am doing great.
I'm not doing so great. I'm not real pleased with the Suns I picked to win it all the way they played last night. They're turning Westbrook into Steph Brooks.
No.
I've never seen like it.
Hey, Russ, I trust.
Yeah. Do you? Well, at least they're down 2-1. That's all I know.
Remember I told you Kawhi was going to be a game-time decision. I said it tongue-in-cheek, but...
You were correct.
I was just like, okay. But it was a very similar play to when he got injured on, Skip.
It was. Another Joe Ingles play.
Shannon Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. But, yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to get to that series in just a second. But I want to start with one this morning where, talk about influential calls, ejections, and non-ejections. 76ers and Nets, it sure did get chippy last night. First, Joel Embiid not ejected for kicking up on Nick Claxton. He was given a flagrant one due to, quote, the point of contact to the leg. I'll let you interpret. And it didn't rise to the level of excessive, according to the officials. Now, later in the third, James Harden given a flagrant 2 foul call, ejected out of there for what he said was, quote, an unacceptable call and given no good explanation for. 76ers go on to win 102-97. Shannon, did Embiid deserve a flagrant 1 and Harden that flagrant 2?
I thought the foul should have been flipped. I thought James Harden deserved the flagrant 1, Skip, because he's making a basketball play. Because what he's trying to do is get his guy's hands off him. You try to hand check the guy. He tries to knock his hand off, and guess what? His hand wasn't there, and his hand goes into his midsection. Joel Embiid, Skip, that's not a basketball play. You're laying on the floor, you kick up. That's not a basketball play. It's unnecessary, and it's excessive. And Joel Embiid said, Skip, you can see the game plan. Got to hit him. Try to make him frustrated so he can get ejected. So I'm mature, just put myself in a position where I'm going to be ejected. So I just went about my business, and we got the win. You kicked the guy. So how are you going about your business? Theoretically, they did what they set out to do. If what you're saying is true, they were trying to hit you, get you frustrated, get you out of your game to get ejected. It worked because you kicked the man. Is that what you normally do in a game? Is kick someone? That's not a basketball play. So I thought the foul should have been flipped. I thought James Harden deserved James Harden deserved to throw a flagrant 2. Skip, that's not a flagrant 2.
No.
I thought the foul should have been flipped. I thought Joel Embiid deserved the flagrant 2. I thought James Harden deserved the flagrant 1. It's going to be interesting to see, considering how they're calling it now, and what if Joe Dumars intervened and says, okay, now you got to be gone for a game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the NBA looks at this, because I do think Joel Embiid play was unnecessary.
Wait, gone for a game after you weren't even ejected during that game?
Good.
Interesting. That would be the ultimate flip. Okay, I'm going to start with James Harden. This is just me. I've been watching this game, covering this game for a long, maybe too long of a time. That wasn't even a foul to me. And it felt like a makeup call, because it felt like the crew was on thin ice, just on the edge of everybody's seats, on the edge of their mind seats, thinking, oh my God, should we have? Right. Oh, well, let's toss him, and then we'll make it all clean, right? We'll make up this to the Brooklyn Nets, and everything will be okay.
So you think they're saying they should have thrown Joel out?
Okay, no, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm starting with the Harden. It escalated to the point where, for me, in my mind's eye, having seen James do that 10,000 times in his life, it's part and parcel of his bag. It's what he does. Right. He uses his offhand to create a little space, especially when a Royce O'Neal, as were all the Brooklyn Nets, they are getting up into your space, into you physically, bumping you, grinding you, and James is just saying, I'm using my offhand to just try to create a little bit of space so I can get free of all of his physicality. Right. It's just basketball. It's called NBA playoff basketball. Obviously, it sounds like grumpy old man talk, but back in the 80s or even the 90s, that's like, it's not even a thought of, it's not even a foul thought. Right. It's a play on. It just happens. It's it's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Right.
You just kind of fight back by saying, okay, I'm gonna hit you a little bit. His hand, I'm talking about James, his hand is cupped. It's not like he balls his fist and trying to hit him in the privates.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to get his hands off him.
Right, and I don't think he was aiming at his privates. Maybe it brushed against the midsection. I can't, I'm sorry,
Right.
I can't see that. I lost my mind on that one. Now back to the first one that triggered all of the above. For me, I liked the way they called it because I believe you are discounting the fact that Claxton had just dunked on him, had been all over him from the start. This is only 3 minutes into the game.
Right.
It was clear they were going to play extremely physically with Joel because it's about the only hope that you have.
Is there any other way to play?
No.
He's two of Charles Claxton.
Okay. And
Nick Claxton.
Nick Claxton. And Claxton manages to dunk on him. Then he steps over him, which is the ultimate disrespectful basketball play. Maybe not a football play, but it's a basketball disrespect. You cannot disrespect a man any more than when he is down, you straddle him. You step.
AI.
Okay, it's the AR and Ty Lue. But this is even worse. He is glowering down at him, standing over him. You are asking for it. Okay, so this is just me. If Joel Embiid had actually wanted, with this man standing over him, straddling him, if Joel had wanted to kick him right in the privates, he would have kicked him right in the privates. That was a kick of just get up off me. That was a kick of get out of my space.
But it was what? What'd you say it was?
It was a kick.
Okay.
Okay. But the point of contact to me was upper back leg, maybe up into the buttocks region. And it's the opposite side of the body from privates, okay? So if it's not aimed at the privates because if he's right there, you know, and I'm talking about straddling, and you say, okay, I'm going to get even with you. If you want to kick him in the privates, you're going to hit his privates because he is totally exposed to said kick. But instead, Joel is just saying, just get out of here, get away, because Joel is thinking, I'm about to win the MVP, and you, Nick Claxton, cannot get away with doing that to me. It's just, it's manhood versus manhood out on the basketball court. That's what it is. So I'm going to take into account, I'm going to put into context the fact that Nick Claxton is asking for it, and that Joel is retaliating during the act. As opposed to Draymond, who, remember, yes, Sabonis started it with, you could call it a dirty play or a crafty play, whatever you want to call it. He grabbed his ankle so that Draymond couldn't beat him up the court.
Correct.
And he hung on for a second, I don't know, and then he let go.
Right.
And now, or Draymond's actually pulling free of him, but Draymond has pulled completely free, so the act is over. And Draymond then sort of goes back with a stomp. And again, I told you the day after the stomp happened, in and of itself, just right there in and of itself, I don't think it's a big deal. It's not big enough to me to be ejectionable. Okay?
I still think it does, Skip, because not only was it unnecessary, it was excessive because he stomped him.
Okay.
I can see, Skip, if, you tried to pull your leg off and you were like, you step on him as you're going forward.
But I gave Draymond a slight break there because Sabonis started it, and he finished it. He finished it. But in the context, if I'm refereeing, if I'm in Secaucus, New Jersey, and I'm looking at the big picture, I'm saying, okay, Sabonis started it, he finished it. Let's move on with flagrants. You get a technical, you get a flagrant one. But I'm not going to toss you out of the game. But Draymond, as they're reviewing the play, loses his mind as he always does. And it's antics, and then we can go into why was he suspended. Well, as Joe Dumars said, it's body of work. It's what was his exact quote about Joe Dumars? What did he call it? Hold on, let me get this quote here. It was excessive, over the top actions, conduct detrimental, and repeat offender. So all those things are operating in the minds of the people trying to review this play as it's unfolding live. And they finally decide, okay, he's gone. Because it's Draymond, and nobody has a worse track record in that context than Draymond does.
Do you think that's what saved Embiid, because he doesn't have that track record?
He doesn't have nearly. In fact, I checked out on the career negative stats on these guys. Draymond has 169 technical fouls in his career. to 58 for Embiid. Joel's not no choir boy, like he's got his share too. Okay, but if we look at ejections, Draymond's been ejected 17 times to Joel's 1 time. Well, that sort of sums it up right there. So then we got flagrant fouls. It's not even close. It's not even close, but it's 19. And then suspensions. Draymond's been suspended 4 times to Joel's 1 time. Joel did get suspended once for 2 games for fighting. So again, Joel is not holier than thou when it comes to this, but he's no Draymond.
Right.
So I do believe that in the context, they're going to give Joel a slightly better break than they are to Draymond.
Okay.
That's just me. But in the biggest picture, I didn't like the quote that you read from Joel, because he's saying, I'm too mature to get. No, you're not, because I don't like that he kicked.
Right.
But I'm going to give him a break of, I'm not going to toss him out of the game for it, because Claxton is asking for some kind of retaliation.
And then McClaxton already knows he has a text, and then he dunks on him again, and then he glares at him.
Okay. Again, do I care that much? If I put it in the vacuum, the taunting glare, I don't know. I can't get real worked up about it, but the game was teetering on out of control.
They wanted to get it under control.
Yes, and they just wanted to regain control, the referees. And they're like, uh-oh, is this going to lead to another fracas, an incident, or is this going to lead to some kind of fisticuffs? And so they just say, okay, Nick Claxton, you are gone with the second technical. So I understand it, but if we put these plays in vacuums, I see them differently than I do in context, especially Draymond versus Sabonis.
Right.
Okay, so again, I like the way they refereed the first incident, because, it's a technical foul and a flagrant 1, but it's not a flagrant 2. It's not an ejection. And Joel stayed in the game, and it did give Philly a better chance.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I didn't love the way Joel reacted the rest of the game, because he was incredibly frustrated all night. And his numbers are all career low type numbers.
Oh, Tyrese Maxey saved him.
He saved him.
Besides Tyrese Maxey, we went. James Harden leaving, and Joel Embiid, as you mentioned, not having the type of game that we're expecting Joel Embiid to have, especially once Nick Claxton leads the ball game. Skip, they guarded with Royce O'Neal and Dorian Finney-Smith, guys that's giving up 7-8 inches and probably 100 pounds.
They went all small.
Yeah.
They just gave up. Well, they'd lost Claxton, obviously.
Right.
And they just attacked Joel just the way the Clippers are attacking Kevin Durant, because when Durant gets the ball, he's got 2 or 3 all over him, and he's being overwhelmed. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. But Joel was a little overwhelmed by the double teams, because he hasn't seen such ferocious double teams during the year. Nobody really played him like this.
And then when he thought it was coming, they didn't come.
No, they didn't come, and he seemed completely, it worked.
Right.
They did the best job they could on him, until the bitter end, when Dinwiddie tried him one last time, if we could see that. And Joel did one good thing all night, really just only one good thing. He blocked Dinwiddie.
Oh, yeah.
And he barely got it, but he got it.
Yeah.
He barely got it before it hit the glass. But here's Dinwiddie saying, I think I'm going to try you. No, sorry, because he did have 5 fouls. And he just barely got it, but that was game saver right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And as I keep tweeting, Tyrese Maxey has turned into my favorite NBA player, because he is so much fun to watch and so explosive. James is kicked out, and Tyrese said, okay,
picks it up.
I got you.
He picks it up, Skip.
And he scored the most clutch time points in the last 25 years in a playoff game. He scored 10 in clutch time, that late and close time.
Yeah.
And it was the most since, as you mentioned, Allen Iverson had scored 12, I believe, but it was 25 years ago.
Right.
So my point is, that was sensational.
Yes.
And he is sensational. He's turning into, I don't know if I need to put this pressure on him, but he looks like a star to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's the 3rd star who can be the 2nd best player on the team, although James was really good in the time that he played.
James was playing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be the 2nd option, because James only signed a 1-year deal. What transpires with that?
Yeah. Whatever the Sixers are, they're going to have to be right here, right now, because and I know it'll probably blow up after this.
Absolutely.
James wants to go back to Houston.
But you know what, Skip? You're right. I think the thing is, with Joel Embiid only having 14 points, Joel Embiid only having 14 points, and somehow they're still finding a way to win this ball game. Brooklyn played as well as they could possibly play, except probably skip the last couple of minutes of the game. They did give a couple of uncontested threes that really hurt them, but Tyrese Maxey started putting them from 26, 27 feet. I mean, what do you want to do with that? He's coming off of, they went under the screen, and they're not expecting him to shoot. They're expecting him to try to go all the way to the rim, and he just elevates.
Yeah. Hey, this kid's got big, you know what? Yeah. He will take and make the biggest shots, and he has so much fun playing basketball. And it was kind of a game saver, the way he took the game over. Joel saved it with the block, because the game in and of itself was hard to watch.
Yeah.
We had incidents all over the place.
Right.
We had referees losing control, trying to regain control to a fault. And we had Brooklyn playing the kind of scrappy basketball that's hard to watch, because it gets ugly after a while.
You know what it is, Skip? It's kind of like when you in college, when they have that one big man, like you used to watch Virginia with Ralph Sampson, and everybody had those little guys, and they just frustrated him, and he couldn't get a shot up. They played as well, and P.J. Tucker probably got 2 or 3 of the biggest offensive rebounds of his life.
He did.
They gave them.
But he is good at that. That's what he's done his whole career.
Exactly. He's not giving you the point. And he's normally really good on short corner threes, Skip.
Yeah.
He hadn't been that good in this series. But those offensive rebounds, they give them a second crack. When that was huge, because the nets are so small, Skip, they got crushed on the glass again, and you know they're gonna really get crushed once Claxton goes out, because he's their biggest guy, and he's only like 6'9". So now you play with Royce O'Neal, and you play with Dinwiddie, and you play with Mikal Bridges.
So the big picture of this is the 2 players I love the most long term, Durant, and then I've been pushing for Embiid to win MVP all year. They're both seeing defenses they didn't see all year. That maybe, except Kevin, it started with Boston a year ago in the playoffs. That the Celtics wrote the book on how to play Kevin in the postseason, and now the Clippers are executing the book. Well, my point is, without Book, as in Devin Booker, that they're going to lose because
he's out of his mind right now.
Both Kevin and Embiid look overmatched against these come one, come all defenses, where as soon as they touch the ball, it's 2 or 3 are coming to them and saying, well, you just can't beat us. And yet the last time I saw, and we're going to talk about this a little later in the show, but here comes Boston and Philadelphia. It's looming up.
It's going to happen.
Okay, it sure looks like
it's inevitable.
Because it looks like, to me, that the Celtics will go up 3-0 at Atlanta tonight, and that would be 3-0, 3-0, so collision course. And yet, the last time I saw Philly play Boston, it looked like they tried to double Embiid, and he didn't even care. Remember, he just kept pulling up from 15, 17 feet and just killing him. Scored 52.
I can live with that, but I can't live with him putting him on the foul line. I can't live with him living in the paint. Skip, if you're going to hit 15 to 17 footers, you can live with that. But what you can't live with of him going 20 or 23 from the free throw line.
Okay, what did he do last night? Why was this a contest? He shot 5 total free throws. This is a man who averages 12 free throws a game. This is a man who led the league making 10 free throws a game. Well, when he makes 4 free throws, it's a precipitous drop. You won, and you were in position to steal the game. Or this was a home game for Brooklyn, to win the game. And if they had, all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, is this a series? And you're going to take your pound of flesh from them, because you're going to drag this series out. And they needed to stay on course with Boston, because now both teams are set up to get some rest before next weekend, when the semifinals would start. Okay, so then now we get to the ultimate question again. Do you really believe that Joe Dumars and company upstairs at the NBA office, will they reassess this? Will they take such a public beating over their decision on the fly last night that they'll say, we got to take a game away from Joel?
I don't think that the way they operate is that they're looking at it publicly, because publicly they're taking a beating for suspending Draymond. A lot of people don't think Draymond, but you have to do what you feel is in the best interest of the game. And given Draymond's history and the antics that came along with it afterwards, I think that was the right decision. I do agree with you. I think it's going to be a little harder, because you didn't eject the guy. You didn't eject him, but somehow you come back and suspend him for a game. Now, they might come back and say that maybe it should have been a flagrant 2. Maybe they upgraded. And then that's a bigger fine.
It's after the fact. It
Correct.
won't really matter.
Correct.
And the only thing Philly's got going for it, and maybe even the league office, if they really wanted to make good on this in their eyes, I don't believe they need to or should, but if they did, at least in the back of your minds, that Philly's up 3-0. So if you bust him the one game, it's the second game at Brooklyn, the fourth game of the series.
Right.
And even if they lose, they're probably good.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So they could go home and finish it off.
Right.
And then you rightfully punished. You judiciously punished Joel Embiid. I don't want to see that happen. I don't believe it will happen. But
and Philly only shot 13 free throws.
Philly, I know.
Yes. Joel Embiid normally shoots that by himself.
Okay, but who was the aggressor last night?
Yeah.
Who attacked on defense? Well, it was the home team last night.
Yeah.
And in the Clippers-Phoenix game, the Clippers played defense. It's so funny. We've always talked about Kawhi and PG, the two best tandem perimeter defenders.
Not anymore.
That's a thing of the past. But last night, you want to talk about team defense for Ty Lue?
Yeah.
You want to talk about strategic brilliance where every time down, I'm looking at, that's a new wrinkle. That's a new wrinkle. He pulled out every stop to stop Kevin Durant.
Right.
Now, they didn't stop Devin Booker.
Yeah, because Book, like, I ain't going side to side. I'm going downhill. Y'all ain't got Zubac. Y'all got no shot blockers. So once he broke the initial and drove the lane skip, it was layup.
Yeah. So in the end, I'm okay with the way it was refereed, except for the Harden call. But in the end, Philly survived. Philly won.
Yeah.
All is well that ended well for them.
I thought, Skip, when I saw James Harden walking up, I thought he was hurt. I didn't realize I'm like, hold on.
You probably had the sound down.
I did. I had the sound down. So I just see him walking back to the locker and say, I hope you're okay.
He was truly, authentically shocked.
Yes.
Like, seriously. And as he said after the game, I didn't even think I fouled him. Right. Like, I didn't think a flagrant too.
Yeah, that was excessive.
Okay, that's makeup because they're still not sure about how they ruled over Joel. Mm-hmm. So, like, okay, are we good now?
Right.
Okay.
And Tony Brothers, he was voted the best NBA official.
You know what? That's a good point in that The Athletic anonymous poll. He was number one. Yeah. So he was the one presiding. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll take that.
A lot of people would say those calls decided the outcome of this one, guys. All right, let's move a little west now. You think the Suns should be discouraged despite a Game 3 win?
Yeah.
I need you guys to break this one down for me. Plus, did the Warriors send a message with that dominating victory last night?
Yep.
Let's discuss on the other side of this break. And don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on Sirius XM Radio.
Hey, college football fans, Joel Klatt here. And over on my podcast, The Joel Klatt Show, we discuss the best teams, players, and storylines in college football. This month, leading up to the NFL draft, I'm giving you my mock drafts, top 50 prospects, and interviews with draft experts. So follow The Joel Klatt Show on the Fox Sports app, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and get in on the fun.
And I won't back down.
Last night, the Suns took a 2-1 series lead with a 129-124 win over the Clippers. By the way, Clips, no Kawhi Leonard due to a sprained right knee. Devin Booker dropping 45 for Phoenix. KD adding 28. Shannon, what's your biggest takeaway from this one?
Because the Clippers, look, Ty Lue is as good a coach as we have in the NBA.
I agree.
The way he can get his guys to play, no matter who's in the lineup, no matter who's out of the lineup, is second to none. Nobody can get his guys to play when their two best players are out, and they've been out damn near since they've gotten there.
That is true.
It's not like they've had a whole lot of time to play together. Outside of that, for the COVID year, Skip, they've missed so much time, and it's hard to settle out. I'm like, okay, guys, this is the five we're going to roll with. We got a great group. Oh, yeah, Kawhi's out tonight. And we don't know when he's coming back. Oh, yeah, by the way, Paul George has been out for 2 weeks now. Yeah. And you know what? He was out a lot during the regular season. And Kawhi didn't play until after January.
Yeah.
But the guys just play hard. Norman Powell, Stormin' Norman, was sensational last night. Russ was good. Skip, yeah, Russ had 6 turnovers. He should have had 5. Book fouled him. Book tried to take a foul, Skip. The play at the end, when Russ threw the ball ahead and it went out of bounds, that was a foul on Book.
I thought Russ was already losing the ball, but that's just me. I also think Russ could have had 4 other turnovers, but go ahead.
But but the guys, the way they play, and the Skip, and we were talking about it yesterday, I said the difference in this ball game, I said two guys are going to have to cancel out two guys. Now, I said it tongue in cheek. Kawhi's probably a game time decision because he got bumped, not knowing the severity of it. So I apologize. I'm not trying to make light of it, but I was just saying it tongue in cheek.
But there's history there.
There's history there. Skip, and I said, okay, I was anticipating Kawhi playing. I said, okay, Kawhi, Book, or KD needs to cancel out Kawhi. Russ, with no Paul George, is going to be ultra aggressive. The next guy got to cancel him out. I say now your other starters, Ayton, Craig, and Chris Paul, needs to be plus 15, plus 20, because you're going to get crushed by their bench. Terrence Mann, Bones Highland, I was anticipating, Skip, Norman Powell coming off the bench. So I said, you're going to get crushed by their bench. You need to crush their starters in order to offset that barrage is going to happen to you. And lo and behold, it was right on cue. Because you look at Bones Highland had 20, Terrence Mann had 10. So they got 39 points to 18. So, and now you see the difference in the ball game. You look at their starters. Every starter for the Suns in double figures. You look at the Clippers. Eric Gordon had 7. Nicholas Batum got cardio in last night, and Zubac had 6. That's your ball game, Skip. The starters crushed. There's by the sum that I thought they needed, because you know that barrage of the Clippers bench second unit was going to do damage on them. Skip, look. Book is he's in a zone right now, because like you said, they're spending all their attention. Any guy that can go get 7 in a ball game, I don't care who he got it against. I don't care if he was just jacking up shots. If a guy can go get 7 in the NBA game, you know he can get 30, 40 at the drop of a hat.
That is correct.
Okay, so now you putting all your attention on KD, and you let Book go one-on-one? What you think gonna happen, Skip? What's happening? And then when you least expect it, you're like, okay, we got to get Book. You still got that 7-foot monster out there that's going to get to 15 feet, and ain't nothing you can do to bother him. I don't know if you noticed last night. I don't know what Chris Paul was doing. How the hell Chris Paul get 18 shots?
I tweeted late in the game, Chris Paul, nightmare. Nightmare. I don't.
Man, Chris Paul bull jiving out there, Skip.
Hey, I told you, he is the one man who's going to get wide open shots every time, especially in the fourth quarter. It's just going to be, you got this.
I'm doubling Book and KD. Say, Chris Paul, you get to shoot all you want to, because he had more shots than KD. He was 1 for 8, and then he goes to the free throw line.
1 for 8 from 3.
From 3.
Yes.
He's normally really good at the free throw line.
Until late in that game.
And he joined both of those.
Both of them, they weren't even close.
Yeah, I'm like, bruh. But Skip, that was the difference, is that the Suns, their 2 big guns are delivering on a nightly basis. And now, Skip, Torrey Craig had a big shot, because they came down and cut it to 3. And they went to double KD, and he kicked it to Craig in the corner, and he put him right back up 6.
That's 1:24 left in the game.
That was a big
see that.
That was a big shot.
When he made that, my jaw dropped.
Well, what needs to happen, a CP3, you need to pass a little more. You need to be the point guard and make sure you distribute the ball. You need to stop shooting, because you got the cold hand, bro. I mean, you played 40 minutes and gave him 11 points, 5 of 18, 1 of 8, 1 of 8 from 3, 0 for 2. Torrey Craig only had 5 shots, had 15 points.
That'll work.
But you know, Skip, Book, they got no answer for Book right now, because they, like you said, they're diverting so much attention to KD. You know, you the happiest person on the planet wasn't KD going to Phoenix. It was Devin Booker that KD came to Phoenix.
I agree.
Because he knows everybody's like, oh, that KD, man, we got to. Okay.
He used to be the focal point. Like, it's up to you. Do or die. It's you, Book, or bust. And now it's just Book. I got KD over there.
So now he getting all that single coverage. He dropped 45, easy 45.
Do you remember Bookham Dano?
Bookham Dano, Hawaii 5-0.
Well, I was thinking all last night, book him. Just book him.
He was.
Book him, Dano. Book him. Okay. As a guy who picked this team to win it all, I was a little more discouraged than encouraged by last night. But I will frame what happened last night with exactly what happened to your team at Memphis in Game 2. All of a sudden, Ja not going to play Game 2. And your team came out, as your coach said yesterday, Darvin Ham, lethargic. I don't know, you could probably come up with some worse words, right? They weren't ready to play. Memphis was. Memphis rose up, played a little more efficient basketball with Tyus Jones at point guard than they can with Ja, and you know the rest of the story. I didn't even think Memphis played great, but they played well enough to beat your team and even up the series coming back to L.A. And I don't know if Ja's going to play in Game 3 or not. We'll see. Probably another game-time decision.
Yes.
So here we win again. It's 1-1 back in L.A. And just maybe an hour or so before the game, maybe 2 hours before, they announced, wait, no Kawhi. Was I shocked by that? No, I'm not shocked by that because I've heard so many inside stories. His knees are just wrecks. They're chronic. They're arthritic.
Skip, I thought it was, but I didn't think it was real because I saw it on the internet yesterday, like when I got home, like shortly after I got home, and I thought it was a hoax. I'm like, man, they be playing on the internet because, you know, they got all these fake sites to be saying all kind of crazy stuff.
All fake.
So I didn't think it was real.
I was hoping it wasn't real for our sake, just for basketball's sake, for the NBA's sake, because he's been the best start to the playoffs I think we've ever had. And I was so excited about this matchup in this building on this night, opposite Golden State.
Right.
And yet, you know what, Shannon, the bigger shock to me was how explosive Kawhi looked in games 1 and 2 in Phoenix, because I'm saying, on those knees, you're doing that on both ends of the floor because he was guarding KD at an extremely high level. Right. And I'm saying, how are your knees holding up? Well, now they're saying it was a sprain, it was a tweak, whatever, off the bump. I don't know. He just got issues with those. It's going to limit the duration of his career. Right. It's going to take away the backside of his prime. He's not going to be able to be what he was for the first half of his prime.
But the thing is, Skip, Kawhi is a guy that I think if you play a sport, you're not going to be 100%. Kawhi wants to be damn near 100% every time he steps on the court. There lies going to be the problem for him.
Right. He wants to be 110%. And yet, a game like that last night, when you can go up 2-1 in the series,
I believe they would have if he'd played.
Hey, you know how I feel about it. You just play. You just suck it up. And if you have to drag one of your legs around, you just drag it. And you go out there for your teammates just to show them, I'm going to give you my last ounce here. Mm-hmm. And again, Shannon, it's so hard for me to talk about injuries because I don't know what the man is feeling.
Right.
It's possible that one knee is so balky that he just couldn't even run on it or certainly plant and cut on it. Okay, now back to the bigger picture, back to your Ty Lue big picture opinion of what happened last night. This was a Ty Lue special. They threw everything but 5 kitchen sinks at the 5 starters for the visiting Phoenix Suns because every time down I'm seeing a little different wrinkle and nuance on defense. And my biggest disappointment was Kevin Durant started looking like he was made of tissue paper last night. He wasn't strong with the basketball. He wasn't authoritative with his first step and his first move. They were coming to double, but they also occasionally would double book because the strategy was CP3 dribbles the ball up the floor and he's going to lob it over there or lob it over there. They ran one play for Kevin Durant. Again, last night, it was that same pin down play where he comes from the baseline and he turned and missed this shot. Right. And it only comes out of a timeout. So Chris Paul never calls a play for KD with some hand signal where they go pick for him. Right. It's just, I lob it here or I lob it there. Well, sometimes he'll lob it over to Book, and his primary defender will have a second defender start to come to even Book. So the idea is whichever superstar has the ball on the wing, whoever's on that side, we need 2 to go to him to try to get the ball out of each of their hands. Correct. But you know what Book was doing, unlike Kevin Durant? Book is just, before the double team even gets there, he just puts his head down and he is underneath. He is going to, they call it blitzing, he's going to split the blitz. He's just going to knife right through it. And once if you beat 2 of them, well, now it's cherry pick, like it's candy store. Either I got this or somebody's going to have wide open shots.
And we saw, Skip, I think it was the end of the third quarter where they tried to blitz him early and he split the double team and got the layup, right before the horn goes off. Okay, well, how could you ask more of one mortal? He scores 45 points. He has... Look what he does. He has 3 steals and 2 blocks. Yeah. Well, he did it all.
It's just doing it. You can't ask for more. Okay. But I could ask for more from Kevin because he looked overwhelmed by the defense. He started looking like that guy that I had to watch for 4 games against Boston last year. The numbers are not nearly as bad as what started happening against Boston, but if we could see Kevin's 6 turnovers, I think we have them, 6 turnovers from Kevin Durant last night, equaling Russ's 6 turnovers. And these were big reasons that there's Russ just taking it away from him. That's just, you out-physicaled him, you attacked. The Clippers were in full-out attack mode on Kevin, and he's just overwhelmed. Stepped out of bounds. Yeah, he stepped out of bounds. And here we go again. Kevin, be careful, stepped out of bounds.
He got a size 18. I mean, what you expect?
Russ took it away from him. Just took it away from him.
Yeah,
Guess who? There he goes. And here we go.
He's like a tourist.
Kevin, this is starting to look like Westbrookian turnovers, where he's just overwhelmed. Whoops.
No, that should have been on book.
Okay, you could argue. Okay. It's not Kevin Durant efficiency.
Right.
The rest of it looks, I guess you'd say, okay, 8 out of 15. It's not 11 out of 15. But, again, the Clippers maxed out.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook, I'm going to give Ty Lue credit for this because I'm going to point out to everybody, help me out here. When we talk about Russell Westbrook, he has been on 6 teams in 5 years.
Yes.
What? Still in his prime, first ballot Hall of Famer, top 75 player, is on 6 teams in 5 years.
No.
It just doesn't happen.
No.
It's why he can be so great and so bad that all these teams finally say, you're a little more trouble than you're worth.
Right.
But Ty Lue, and maybe that's why somebody upstairs, maybe Lawrence Frank, maybe Jerry West, maybe Steve Ballmer, somebody said, you know what? I think Ty Lue can get the best out of Russ in ways that Darvin Ham or LeBron or whoever else couldn't get out of Russ.
The biggest difference, Skip, is expectations.
Yeah.
And plus, he has the ball in his hands.
Well, that can be a really bad thing.
That can be. But with LeBron and AD, now Kawhi out and PG out, Russ is the number 1 option.
Yeah.
So now we know he can play like that. We saw him in OKC win an MVP like that.
Yeah, but I've never seen him shoot like this.
No, he's shooting 40% from the 3.
Okay.
So you told me he was a terrible 3-point shooter.
Okay, well, he's been bottom of the barrel. He's been bottom 5 the last 2 years, and he's threatened to be bottom 1.
Yeah.
He is horrendous. He's been a sub 30% 3-point shooter, and all of a sudden he's shooting them with conviction like I've never seen him shoot and holding the post.
Yeah.
But he did shoot. It was his second try? Yeah, his second 3-point try. If we could see the one that's 1:56 left in the first quarter. This is also Russ last night. Here's the air ball. Look at this. Help me out. You realize that missed 2 feet to the left. It's like, how can you make 3 and miss one that badly?
Right.
Well, is that not Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, he ain't got no conscience.
Okay, he's got no conscience, and it didn't even faze him.
Yeah,
it didn't go in his memory bank, right?
It didn't happen.
Okay, and yet he also, if we could quickly see, I've got to do this. We got to see his turnovers because you mentioned one wasn't really his fault. I disagree with that. But if we could see our classic vintage Russell Westbrook turnover blooper reel, we used to show these with the Lakers all the time. Here we go. This is early in the game. Well, that's just horrible.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
He had no idea what he's doing, and that he hit two in the back of the head. Okay, and that gave Book that, and whoops, no good. Come on, Russ, whoops, worst hands of any point guard ever. And
he about to leave his feet.
No, I don't know. And this is the one you talked about.
Yeah, no, give that. He found that up there.
And I thought he deserved a tech for that, but I guess the ref was so shaky on the call that he said, "I'll let him go. Let him go." There were 4 other plays in the second half that he actually turned the ball over, but it bounced around and they got it back and it wiped out and canceled the turnover. My point is, he was great and he was not great. And yet Norman Powell, you know what I call him? I call him Uncle Buckets because he's just Uncle Buckets.
Yeah, Stormin' Norman, but
he doesn't look the part.
No.
He's kind of bow-legged and short-legged, and yet Shannon,
he's a bucket.
You just can't stop him.
Nope.
He's got every trick in the book, and he'll beat you from 3. He'll beat you at the rim. Nobody can block his shot. I don't know how he does it, but he kept them in the game, and Russ hit some key shots, and it went to the wire. And by the way, there was a shot by Bones Highland who put up 20, because the Suns' defense was just
that was all 3/4 of the way down.
Bones Highland, that would have cut it to 2 with 31 seconds left if we could see the one shot. This is to cut it to 2 with 30 seconds left. It just went all the way down and back out. And my God, this is dangerous for Phoenix.
Yes.
Because if Phoenix somehow blows the end of the game and they go down 2-1, I don't know what Kawhi's status is going to be.
Right.
Heck, I don't know what Paul George's status is going to be. He might shock you and come out of nowhere and play in 1 or 2 of these games before it's over.
Right.
So you had to survive, you had to prevail, and the only silver lining was they did.
But if Kawhi has a sprained knee, I've never seen anybody miss one game with a sprained knee and then play again on Sunday.
I think it's euphemistically sprained. I just think he's got issues going on, but we'll see. But all I know is in the fourth quarter of that game, they could not stop the Clippers, who scored 39 points without Kawhi or Paul George. 39 points, and it was just there's a lot of layup line going on.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Nobody played any defense.
Yeah.
Because it's not the Suns scores 40s, and then the Clippers scored 34.
Yep.
And then the Clippers got 39 in the fourth, and the Suns got 35.
Whew.
So nobody played defense in the second half.
Lord have mercy.
One team scored 73,
Yeah.
the other team scored 75.
There you go.
Remarkable what the Clippers did, actually, without their 2 major stars, guys. All right. How about that Warriors win last night, gentlemen? Ooh, their first victory in this series. They beat the Kings at home 114-97. Steph Curry leading the charge for Golden State. He dropped 36 points. Shannon, what did last night's win show you for the Warriors?
Man, they were a desperate team. They couldn't afford to go down 0-3.
No.
And I don't care how good what you've been or who you are. You're not going down 0-3. And with your road record, that means you got to go on the road, and you're one of the worst road teams in the NBA and beat this team twice in their building. So you knew they were going to come out desperate. You knew they were going to come out with a sense of urgency, and they did just that. They climbed the board, Skip. I mean, everything. Kevon Looney, if it was close, he came down with it. They had 13 offensive rebounds. No, they had 18 offensive rebounds.
Well, he got
Kevon Looney had 9 of them. Had half of them.
Mm-hmm.
First player to have 9 offensive rebounds and 9 assists in a game. Since Charles Barkley was the last one to do it.
Okay.
Skip, Steph was Steph.
He was.
But I thought Andrew Wiggins got him going early, Skip, because he hit some big shots.
He's capable. Yeah.
And you know, Clay made some shots here. Jordan Poole didn't play great, Skip.
He didn't.
He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he gave you 16 big points.
He did.
But it was Steph.
Yeah.
It's giving nothing. The dunk, the 3-point shot is what the dunk used to be.
Yeah.
Ignite the crowd.
It does.
Take the roof off the building.
Agreed.
And nobody takes the roof off the building like Stephen Curry.
Nobody.
Because they're
especially that building.
Yeah,
yes.
man. They're waiting for it. Hey, a 360 windmill tomahawk dunk ain't gonna do it like when Steph Curry pulls up from 28.
I agree.
And he had it going last night.
Yeah.
And then when they ran him off the 3-point line, he's going all the way and he's landing finger rolling like George Gervin.
Yeah.
And one of you.
Yep.
So, Skip, I'm not surprised that they did this. We knew they weren't going to go down without a fight. This is going to be a long series, Skip, because they're going to win the next game also.
Think so?
They're going to win the next game also. You go in 6 or 7. You go in 6 or 7.
You had me until your last line.
You go in 6 or 7.
I got the Kings winning game 4.
No. We want them doing that?
Yeah.
I got him. See?
But I get the points.
There you go.
No, I gotta have the points.
Why?
They just keep going through the roof with the points.
Why are you out of points?
It's up to 7.5. So I got Sacramento plus 7.5.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that?
We men. We stand on our shield.
Oh, now you're questioning my manhood, my betting manhood. Okay. All right, I will think about this for the rest of the show.
Okay.
We will conclude at the end of the show. Okay. I do believe that Sacramento will play much better in Game 4 than they played last night. And I believe that the biggest reason, before I get to Golden State's why, but the biggest reason the Kings lost last night is they have a secret weapon that used to be your weapon. And his name is MM, as in Malik Monk.
Yeah.
And do you see what happened to Malik Monk last night? He played 25 minutes. 1 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 4 from 3. Help me out.
4 points.
It's just not right.
Nope.
It's who they are. They wait for him to come in,
Yeah.
And De'Aaron Fox is, as we know, he's the best clutch fourth quarter scorer in basketball statistically this year. But they need their secret weapon. They need big bursts from him, and you could do the classic cliche about role players play better at home than on the road.
Yeah.
And I guess he is the ultimate role player because he does not start. He comes off the bench, but they need him to fire start when he comes off the bench. And you know what he did in the first two games, especially game one.
Yes.
Well, he did nothing last night, which leads me to Steph Curry. To your point, when Steph gets going in that building, it's over. And I do believe that Golden State in total last night, the mindset was desperate, as you said, but it was also quietly, let's show the world what we can do without Draymond.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they hate Draymond, but as our guy Eddie House said the other day, you know, if you're his teammate, and Eddie played on championship teams, if you're his teammate, at some point you just get a little sick and tired of the antics and the behavior.
Well, I get tired of answering questions for him.
Yes, correct. Okay, there you go. So last night they rose up as a group and said, we're going to be just fine without him.
Right.
Not that they aren't better with him in their minds, but still, that was a tour de force of who they can be without him because Looney played like a lunatic out of his mind, right?
He did. 20 boards.
Because you were worried about can they board with them at all, and they did.
Won.
They won the boards.
59-53.
Okay, not bad. 59 rebounds is a lot of rebounds.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Sacramento took 47 threes and Golden State took 50. So that's who we are now. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Steph Curry. I'm going to show you his 6 out of 12 threes that he made. Nobody can front run and showboat better than Steph in that building. When he gets you down, he steps on your proverbial throat.
He does.
And he incites the crowd to blow the roof off that place. We're going to start off. There's the first one, and if you watch how he holds the pose, here we go. Oh, God, he is turning to the crowd. He is playing to the crowd.
Look at this.
Oh, I mean, yeah, there he is. He's seen playing to the crowd.
Look at this. That's about 29. Yeah. 29 feet out. 30.
You know, this is.
I mean, what am I supposed to do with that, Skip?
The Kings are saying, okay, well, let's.
Okay, what am I supposed to. Mike Brown said, hey, just call a timeout and say, hey, guys, hey.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's who he is. And I'm not criticizing. I'm saying it in a plus way, in a very positive way. Front running, showboating. Look at me, you. He's trying to make eye contact with everybody in the crowd. Like, yep, we got him. And you got him on the run, and you shot him out of the building. And to your point, Jordan Poole, I thought would in place of Draymond, might really help, but he didn't do that much because he didn't shoot the ball that well. The truth is, nobody shot it that well because Clay was 3 out of 10. To your point, Andrew Wiggins made 3 out of 6, but Jordan Poole was 1 of 7 from 3. The man who detonated the building was that man number 3.
The one you expected it to.
Yes.
It to.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now it felt like last hurrah-ish to me last night. This is the end of the dynasty. I don't think Draymond will be there next year. I'm not saying that Steph is past his prime, but Clay is looking a little past his prime. I think he's out of his prime now.
It comes and goes.
Yeah.
He can have stretches. He's definitely not the defender that he once was. There's nothing wrong with his arm, Skip, but his shooting stroke, it still looks good.
Yeah.
But he can't put it together back to back. Skip, I think Steph still got 2-3 years in his where he can do
like
this.
high level.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy that. I'm going to reiterate, the Kings were 25-16 on the road.
Yeah.
That was the best record in the Western Conference, and it was only a game off the best record by the Milwaukee Bucks in the whole league. 25-16. They were first in offense versus a team in Golden State that was 17th in defense. But guess what? Guess what the splits are for Golden State? At home, they were the 3rd best defense in the league. On the road, they were the 28th worst defense in the league. So it's Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes.
But again, I believe that Sacramento got shell-shocked. They got shot in the heart by Steph Curry last night. I don't think that's going to happen in Game 4. I think it'll be a battle, and if it is, I think that De'Aaron Fox will make the clutch shot.
Well, you got to get it close first.
You have to be close.
Skip, you know the Kings were in trouble when they had 41 points at the half, and we've seen them go get 40-plus point quarters.
Yes.
So you're like, okay.
I agree.
This is not looking good for you guys.
No.
And Steph, and they're like, okay, but Steph is like, okay, Steph. But then it's that third quarter, Skip, they coming out with that sledgehammer. They trying to kill a gnat with a sledgehammer. That's my grandfather said, boy, kill a gnat with a sledgehammer.
Okay, well, they did.
And they'll blow the game open. I mean, even the Kings stuck right there with them.
Yeah.
But you looking for them to, and De'Aaron Fox is like, okay, here comes D. Fox now. Okay, he's trying to make.
He played pretty well last night.
Steph said, not tonight. Not in my house.
Not
and he said, Skip, he said, they keep, I think it was a quote, he said, they keep talking about Draymond's history. You know our history?
Is what he said. He said that on TNT right after the game.
You know our history?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it ancient history?
Well, the problem
is history, right?
The problem that they have, Skip, is they don't have home court.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have, in order to get to where they ultimately need to be, they're going to have to win some road games. Can they do that? Can they steal a road game?
Well, you thought they could steal the first one.
I did. I thought that was their best chance.
Yeah.
They definitely played better. I believe they get game 4 and go back 5. Now, we know, Skip, they lose game 5.
Yeah.
The Kings lose game 5 at home. They're not coming back for game 7.
Agreed. Okay.
They're not coming back for game 7.
Okay. What if the Kings win game 4 and go up?
They're not winning game 4, Skip. No, the Steph ain't gonna let that happen.
What if they do? Would you say then they'd go home and
they close it out?
The deal?
Yeah, they would.
I would think
yes.
close the deal.
But I don't believe Steph is gonna let that happen.
Okay. The key is what you just said. Sacramento, next time it'd be Sunday, is going to have to keep it close going to the fourth quarter.
Yes.
I've always questioned Steph's clutchness from 3 just in the fourth quarter.
Right.
He's never been great. I can just show you numbers after numbers. De'Aaron Fox has been great all year in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yes.
I think Malik Monk can be great in the fourth quarter. But the only way it's going to matter is if it really matters. If the game is...
you down 20, it don't do nothing.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So these guys have to front run you out of the building in 3 quarters, which they did last night. I don't think that's going to happen. And then we'll see what both teams are made of. If it's a tie game, close game, going into the fourth, then we'll see what it's all about.
You got to have it close. You got to have it close. Skip, like Mo Rivera is the greatest closer.
Yeah.
But they had a
You
know what I'm saying? Skip, he might get you a 2. He might get you a 2-inning save most of the time, and not they just bring him in at 9th. And he throws that cut fastball and he closes the door on you.
Yeah.
But it didn't do you no good if you're down 4 runs to have Mo throwing that cut fastball. They'll do anything for you. So in order for the Kings to be the Kings, the best, the most efficient team, offensive team in the NBA, had the highest scoring rating, offensive rating since 83, 84 when the Nuggets was going up and down.
True.
You got to have it close in the fourth to let De'Aaron Fox cook.
Okay, because the Kings have Mo Rivera.
Yeah, they do. They do. D. Fox.
Yeah.
Hey, Skip, he's as good in the clutch as we maybe have ever. Skip, I mean, for him, for that size, though.
Yeah.
It's not like it. You see, Jordan and Kobe, you see other guys.
Yeah.
But Skip, what is he? What you think he is, 6'2"?
I'll give him that. Yep.
And he can get anywhere on the court he wants.
Heck, the first time I saw it was in that NCAA game against Lonzo Ball on that Friday night in Memphis. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, man.
And
he gave that
De'Aaron
work.
Fox just said, watch this.
Oh, he gave him
And
crazy.
that was the first night I sat back and said, what?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah,
That's when Lonzo was flying highest.
Dude is quick as he might not have the handle that Kyrie, but you talking about quickness?
Yeah.
Can get the ball from one end to the other?
No.
Or from getting to point A to point B?
Yeah. And man, can he not get in the lane and shoot little 10-foot jumpers?
Skip, I don't know. It just looks something about a lefty.
It's a lefty. I know. It gets you. It does. No, it does. I agree with it. It looks more imposing when it's coming from the...
Because they got that herky. It's kind of like James Harden got that herky jerk. You don't see a righty that have that herky jerky motion like Harden, like De'Aaron Fox.
It was like Ginobili. It's left-handed. It's like, what? Got it. Here we go.
Steph described the win as giving the Warriors life, guys.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a really fun series down the stretch. All right, Shannon, let's talk a little bit about your guy LeBron coming up. How do you think he's going to respond to all that trash talking Dillon Brooks was doing? That's coming up next right here on Undisputed.
Baseball is back, and so is Flippin' Bats.
5 times a week, Monday through Friday.
So follow us on the Fox Sports app, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Not only did Dillon Brooks, returning to the NBA now, call LeBron James, quote, old after the Grizzlies' Game 2 win, but he also decided to dish on some of the trash talk that unfolded during the game. Brooks said he told LeBron, quote, you can't take me one-on-one. You haven't. Ooh. Brooks said after that, LeBron took him one-on-one, but then, quote, he got subbed out, he was tired, so I did my job. Wow. Shannon, how do you think LeBron is going to respond tomorrow night?
Like he always does. LeBron doesn't get in one-on-one battles. That's not his game. His game is to go out there, play efficient. If he needs to score 30, he'll score 30. If he needs to get 10 rebounds, he'll get 10 rebounds. If he needs to get 10, 11 assists, that's what he'll dish out. LeBron doesn't get into, oh, it's me. He always understands. He put emphasis on the team concept. So he's not going to get out of character. He can play one-on-one, but he's not going to get into a one-on-one battle skill where we see some of these guys, they get a bucket, give me the ball back, let me go at you, get a bucket. Okay, you got a bucket, let me get the ball and come back. That's not how LeBron plays the game. And so he's not going to start now. Dillon Brooks is trying to get LeBron, you can't take me one-on-one, knowing that's not LeBron's game. Yeah. Now, if that was Kobe, if that was Jordan, that was some of these other one-on-one players, they would probably go into a situation where they try to go back and forth. But that's not how LeBron's going to play. So he's not going to get out of character. He's done a great job of guys who always tried it, from the Lance Stevensons to the Dillon Brooks. There have been a lot of guys that tried to say and egg and initiate things, but LeBron is going to play his game. And at the end of the day, more times than not, that's been good enough to get his team to win. So I'm not expecting LeBron to try to, hey, the first 5-6 possessions, give me the ball. Let me shut this clown up.
Yeah.
To put him in his place.
Yeah.
But if that was, let's just say, Skip, if that was KD or someone LeBron viewed as an equal, he might be like, okay, that's how you feel, bro. But Dillon Brooks, he kind of like Tom Brady. You know that when guys that Tom don't view as an equal, Tom ain't shaking your hand at the end of the game. You beat him, Skip. No. Peyton Manning, or Drew Brees, or Patrick Mahomes, I view you as an equal. Dap your boy up. You not my equal? Man, get out of my face. I ain't got time for you. That's how LeBron looks at Dillon Brooks. Trust me.
Okay, but you did say, I think you would like to see him call for the basketball early on and say, okay, watch this.
I would like to see him play a little bit more down on the block.
I would too. All right. The more I thought about this, the more I slept on it, though we don't sleep much.
No, hell no.
But the more I thought, the worse it got. The audacity of this kid, Dillon Brooks, who can't back up any of his words, to do that kind of a number on a truly all-time great player and the greatest scorer in the history of this game, to be that utterly, dismissively disrespectful. I know it's for clicks. I know it's for being Dillon the villain. I get it. But it came across as just utter, cold-hearted, remorseless disrespect that he's saying he's old. He can't take me. He went on, and the more he spoke, the worse it got.
But think about it. A 38-year-old just gave you 28. In year 20. Now you said this about a guy.
He's like, wake me up when you give me 40, right? Okay. The stats show that LeBron scored on him 50% of the time, which is pretty great.
Yes.
Listen, Dillon Brooks, he talks way better than he shoots. I can tell you that. If he could shoot with his mouth, he'd be pretty good.
Oh, yeah. He'd be Steph Curry.
He'd be Steph Curry. That's true. Okay, so now we're always going back and forth about Jordan versus LeBron versus Jordan versus LeBron. In a similar circumstance, okay, I don't think anybody would ever attack Jordan the way he attacked LeBron, because LeBron is seen as beloved, as a nice guy. And I think at heart, he's got a big, good heart, LeBron James, sometimes to a fault. So this is one of those times when I seethe over this to the point that I want LeBron to destroy this man. Because
and for you to say that, that's saying something.
It's so out of bounds what he did. it's so uncalled for. It's so beneath the dignity
Right.
of one LeBron Ramon James that he can destroy this kid if he so chose to do. But it's not his way. It's not how he plays. He's still the best passer in basketball. He still orchestrates. He's still the point guard for this team. And yet, to your point, if he wants to post up at least some of the time early on in the first half, he'll make him look really bad, because he was making him look bad in the fourth quarter the other night. It was just too little too late.
Right.
So, look, I have seen LeBron in his career get mad at a heckler. It's usually a courtside heckler. I saw it once in Atlanta. We're going way back. I saw it once in Toronto. We're going way back. And he went crazy off on the opposition.
No, you remember the one in Cleveland.
And Cleveland's another one. Well, you mean, are you talking about the bubble one?
Yeah, in Cleveland, the guy, when he missed the shot at the end of the third.
Lord have mercy.
And the guy was like, he stood up and like, you clapping?
The executives, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? It's when there's no fans.
Yeah, right.
When you could hear every clap.
Everything, yeah.
Okay. And
he was crazy. He
destroyed them
crazy in the fourth.
Okay. That's what I would like to see tomorrow. Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a fine line between channeled rage and unchanneled rage. Rage that undoes you instead of undoes him, right? There's the fine line between being able to focus your get-even rage, your anger, or lose control of yourself and the situation.
Right.
So I obviously don't want to see that. To your point, the ultimate revenge is just go win the game.
Correct.
The really ultimate revenge is to win 2 in L.A. and go back to Memphis and shut them down, shut them up, and close them out at home. That's the ultimate revenge. And LeBron can do that by just being part of the win. He can do his part, which is a big part of the win. But there's a big part of me that wants to see him take Dillon Brooks down low 4 or 5 times in the first half and just do a number on him. And if you got to get to the foul line, get to the foul line. But I'm talking about get him in foul trouble. I want to see 4 fouls by halftime. I want to see foul trouble by halftime.
I think the thing, Skip, the problem that and we did this because we weren't the only show that talked about it. Everybody talked about it. The only way a fire can spread is that if you give it oxygen. If you cut off his oxygen supply, the fire die out. He saw the buzz that he created. A lot of people was leading their shows talking about what he said, and it would repeat.
Well, how can you not?
Skip, you talking about me? Ain't mentioned nothing about his game. Ain't mentioned nothing about that 14, 2, and 3 for a career average. We ain't mentioned nothing about that.
Hey, he can't shoot a lick.
You hear what he said about LeBron? So he's like, well, I got more. Skip, it's kind of like a comedian. A comedian get on you. The best thing you can do, Skip, if a comedian gets on you, he start getting on you. Just sit down, don't try to get, hey, you not funny, and look what you got on. They're gonna put the light on you. They're gonna tear you up. So LeBron said, you know what? I ain't gonna even worry about it. I'm gonna go ahead and play my game. And at the end, we got probably 3-4 more games because we win in the series. And then I'm going to get the last laugh. Okay. But LeBron is not a getting to a one-on-one battle and try to go bucket for bucket and tit for tat.
Okay. The problem was LeBron stooped to respond during that game. It's 8-10 left in the third quarter. LeBron shot a fall away, reminiscent of the shot that he made to pass Kareem. And then he went up the floor and engaged with him.
He was just looking at him. He just looking at him.
There was some...
And then when they called timeout, he called him an effing bum.
Yes, he did. And Dillon Brooks literally clapped in his face, as in clapping back, as in Dillon Brooks was clapping for himself because he's thinking, I got him. I got under his skin. I got him to respond. I got you. He said, well, I thought maybe it'd take 4 or 5 games for him to respond to me, but I got him here. He's like celebrating that he got LeBron to call him a bum.
Well, that's the only time LeBron would ever speak to him. To call him a bum. He upset Skip. Like,
okay, I got it. But he did that, and that's what empowered Dillon Brooks. And listen, to his credit, to Dillon Brooks' credit, he did make the quote-unquote biggest shot of the game. He made the dagger 3 at the end. I mean, it put the game completely away. It wasn't like a game-winning shot, but it was a game-clinching shot.
Skip, Skip, you remember in the Garden when Kobe dropped that 60 on him? And he told Spike, it's your fault. Because you kept running your mouth. You wouldn't sit down. So this is what I had to do to your team. That's not how me. I mean, I could talk and still go out there and do my job, but everybody's not like that. Some people just quiet, and at the end of the day, they just point up at the scoreboard. They wouldn't even say anything, even though they gave you that work.
Yeah.
I don't think Jared wasn't a talker. Prime didn't do any talking. He just at the end of the day.
What? For all the greatness of Deion's ability to communicate off the field, he didn't talk on it.
Nope.
It's very interesting.
he didn't.
Okay. So,
but nobody really said anything to him because you ain't want them problems.
Well,
it was already gonna be tough sledding for you, but you didn't really want him to laser focus in and shut you out.
Okay. So Jordan was built differently than LeBron because Jordan would go into a game with a grudge.
Yeah.
So it would be premeditated. He'd be ready at tip-off to destroy you. LeBron has been better getting mad in the flow of the game where it's not premeditated. It just happens, and he just reacts instinctively, and it just flows out of him, right? So it's going to be a little more difficult because this game is going to require some premeditation about how you're going to attack it.
The difference is between Jordan and LeBron. Jordan looked for reasons to dislike you. LeBron looked for a reason to like you.
That's beautifully said, and that sums it up.
That's how
that sums up the two.
He was looking for reasons to dislike you.
Absolutely, he was looking for reasons to dislike his teammates.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, I don't like the color you wear. I don't like something you said. This, and somebody said, well, you was just as good as me. I mean, hold on, he didn't say that. The media said that.
Yeah.
The media said he was the next Michael Jordan, or he has a game problem. The guy didn't say that by himself, but Mike would punish the guy for something somebody else said.
Or something that he didn't really say at all. Mike made it up. He exaggerated.
Right.
Okay, last quick point. So you've referenced The Athletic anonymous poll of NBA players, current players. Mm-hmm. They still vote Jordan the GOAT, which surprises me because usually your contemporaries will side with you because we're all better than they used to be.
Right.
But there's still awe, maybe sneaker awe, you could argue, of the Jordan mystique.
Right.
If you want to call it some mythology, there's some operating, but it's mystique. It's because they know LeBron and they don't have he doesn't have the awe factor that Jordan has to them. Yeah,
you're right, Skip. But I think it's the grace in which Jordan played. It's the layup package. Yeah. The tipping the ball and the tongue hanging out, and it's just. I mean, he had a beautiful game.
Yeah, it's a pack.
I mean, he had a game. I mean, I don't know what to say. Skip is a beautiful game. It was.
It was. This will be very interesting. I'm on edge of seat tomorrow night to see how LeBron attacks this game right out of the box.
Yeah, we got something for him.
All right, I hope so.
We got something for him.
Yeah. Do my heart good.
How LeBron responds, and then guys also whether John Morant plays with that hand.
Yeah,
that's a big question mark as well. All right, when we come back, guys, Joel Embiid, speaking of good questions, do you think he got off easy last night? I need you to dissect this one for me because the officiating in this one seemed to be all over the board. That's coming up next right here on Undisputed. All right, so last night, Draymond Green was serving his suspension for receiving a flagrant 2 foul. Well, perhaps ironically, Joel Embiid received a flagrant 1 for kicking Nick Claxton and finished the 76ers win. Charles Barkley gave his thoughts on the incident last night. Take a listen.
His was worse than Draymond's, to be honest with you.
Worse than Draymond?
Yeah, because he tried to kick a guy in his jump.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Just because the guy's a bad shot, I mean, you know what he was trying to do.
I mean, so what's the law?
Yeah, no, listen, we all have our own opinion. I thought he tried to kick him in his private parts. He should have got ejected.
Shannon, do you agree with Sir Charles on this one?
I already said I agree with it. And like you said, Skip, just because he missed the target doesn't mean. Skip, if I shoot at somebody and I don't hit them, they're like, well, it's no harm, no foul because you didn't actually shoot him. No, but I tried. He tried to kick you. Let me ask you a question, Skip. You thought he was trying to kick him in his thigh or he was trying to kick him in his private?
This is just me. I don't think he was aiming at his private.
I think he was aiming at his private. He tried to get him. And I agree. I think he should have received because, like I said, that's not a basketball play. And it was unnecessary. And it was excessive. So, by my letter of the law, yeah, he should have got at least ejected. Now I don't know about the suspension because he doesn't, as you mentioned, you read off, he doesn't have the history of these type of incidents like a Draymond. But in that moment, yeah, it's still, Skip, I mean, you might not have a huge history. It's for adjudication down the road. But in that moment right then and there, yeah, I probably would have thrown him. If I was an official, I probably would have thrown him out of the game.
Okay, but you are saying you agree with Charles that this was worse than what Draymond did to Sabonis.
Skip, you know what? I hate, Skip, you know, and we do this a lot up here. I try to hate, well, this was worse than that. You know what I'm saying? I try to stay away from that because, you know, well, what Kyrie, you know, tweeted this and then somebody said something about the African-American community was worse than the LGBTQ community. And so I've tried to stay away from that.
Versus the Jewish community.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I tried to do, Skip, and I just looked at it and says, okay, Draymond did this. He was ejected.
Yeah.
I believe Joel Embiid should have been ejected. Now, for the suspension, given that he doesn't have a history, he has some history, but not to the extent of Draymond. And Draymond has a lot of history in the playoffs.
His is all-time history. Since he entered the league, nobody has anything close to what he
just had an issue. He just had an issue last year in the playoffs with history, with all this carry on, the excess.
Yep.
So it's not like they had when the last time Draymond did something like this? We got to go way back to 2011, 12. No. We just got to go back 300 days.
Yeah. 17 ejections in his career to 1 for Embiid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I heard live what Charles said. I was dumbfounded by it. Kenny was dumbfounded by it, but Shaq agreed with Charles.
Yes.
So it was actually 2-1.
Right. What did Ernie? How did Ernie side?
He doesn't take a side.
Okay, he just neutral. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's Switzerland.
Supposed to be. I guess occasionally he does.
Okay.
But last night I did not sense
either way, either or. Okay.
Okay. The way I saw this unfold was I saw a Nick Claxton who's had previous issues with Joel. They both got techs in a game that they played this year.
Right.
So there's some bad blood. And Nick Claxton is a very emotional player who got a little over-emotional because he dunked on Joel or near or around Joel.
Right. And got an and one.
And he got an and one. And he proceeded, as Joel fell to the floor, which Joel is wont to do.
Yeah.
And he stepped across him, which is the ultimate sign or display of disrespect.
But he stepped across his legs, Skip. He ain't stepped across him like AI did T. Lou.
But he did step across him.
Where you want me to go? You want me to back up? You want me to put it in reverse?
Yes. Well, I mean, you don't need to go over there. And
where I need to go, Skip?
Yeah.
Where you want me to go?
He stood over and taunted and glowered above him.
He should have put a shot and chip on him.
Okay.
When he dunked on Craig Gatlin.
And in the midst of that, while he is straddling Joel is saying, get up off me. And he's going to kick up at him to kick him off. And then as the referee said, as our man Mr. Brothers said after in explaining what the decision was, he said that the contact was deemed unnecessary, but based on the point of contact to the leg, it didn't rise to the level of excessive. Okay, so to me, what I see there is if a man is standing over you, taunting you with the ultimate basketball act of disrespect, it's not really a football act as much as it's a basketball act. It has tradition to it.
Right.
They know what it means. You are rubbing it in.
Yeah.
And if you really want to kick that man straddling you right in the privates, it's easy. It's a direct line right up to the privates, and it's an easy target at that point.
Skip, you missed. Skip, I was in a situation, we played the Raiders in a division playoff game, and Winston Moss, we had Winston Moss on the show a couple of years ago, Skip. He tackled me, and the dude got up, picked himself up on my head.
Okay, yeah. And?
I tried to kick him up in the stomach. I missed him, but I tried to get him.
Well, did you try to get him in the midsection?
Yes, absolutely.
Again, you always say to me on the show, how do you know intent? I don't know exactly.
Well, I'm telling you my intent.
Okay,
he knew my intent.
I only know results because Joel kicks up at him, and the point of contact is on the back upper leg into the buttocks region and completely misses the privates. So he's hitting on the opposite side of the body of Nick Claxton. So he's not even hitting onto the front private side.
Skip, here's the thing. Intent only matters to you. James Harden had no intention of hitting that man in his private.
I don't think so.
It was still the man double up on the ground because that's what happened. So intent didn't matter to Royce O'Neal or whomever he hit. It only matters to James Harden.
You don't think Royce O'Neal was laying it on thick?
No, look, it don't take much. It don't take no full-on blow, a little graze and
No.
Lord.
I got it.
Just take deep breaths. I can't breathe.
I got it. Take it from a kid like me who played catcher from the age of 7 up to 18. You want to talk about privates are exposed to some
ground ball?
No. If you're catcher, anything bouncing in the dirt. That's why they're telling me I got to wear this cup. I got to wear this cup since I'm 8 years old up to 18. I got to wear this cup because it's all you got because it's dangerous, man. Okay. All right. So remember, if we're saying it's worse than Draymond, yes, Sabonis grabbed onto his ankle to prevent him from running to beating him up the court.
Right.
And it's a dirty tactic, or maybe you could just say it's a crafty tactic, but it's a tactic. It's not dangerous to me because I don't think he's going to injure Draymond by just holding on to his ankle. You could say, well, what if he trips and falls? I guess.
Skip, you remember when Mac Jones did that to Brian Burns and twisted his ankle?
Yeah, he twisted. Okay, but I didn't see a twist.
But I'm saying
he's just restraining him for a second.
But hey, what if Draymond's like, man, and stumbles or something?
Okay,
I mean,
maybe.
Sabonis shouldn't have did what he did, but Draymond was excessive.
So that triggered the act.
Right.
But now Draymond has pulled free of the ankle grab, and he has a split second to think about it, and he's going to retaliate with a stomp to the chest.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's the ultimate dangerous act, and they said he had x-rays and he was questionable. I think he played just fine last night. He looked just fine.
What he had, 15 and 16?
16 rebounds. He's fine. Okay. Yeah. They're laying it on thick there.
Draymond thought he was a cue dog. A boy gets five something where he was stomping.
They're trying to get him suspended by saying Sabonis is hurt.
Yeah, sternum.
He needs all kinds of MRIs and x-rays.
And then Draymond tried to trouble and say, I got to get an x-ray on my ankle.
Okay. All right. But my point about Joel is Draymond stomped after the act had finished, the dirty tactic.
Yeah.
This is in the midst of this man is disrespecting you, straddling you, standing over you. So it's in the process of the act. He kicks up, and it's a get out of my space kick. Now, what's his intent? What's his target? Well, I think if you really want to hit where you're talking about it, then you hit it.
I mean, you try, Skip. I mean, in a situation like that, when somebody's doing something to you, you try. I mean, you might not be successful, but don't think it wasn't for lack of effort.
Yeah, okay. But it's a kick to the back of the leg. Well, to the referees, they can't judge intent. They can't decide you aimed at his privates, but you hit him in the butt or the back of the leg, right?
Well, I mean, they deemed it excessive. I mean, James Harden got thrown out of the game, Skip, because he tried to brush the man's hand away, and the man's hand wasn't there, and it just like flew into his midsection.
Do you believe he aimed at his privates? Because I don't.
No. I don't believe.
I've seen James flail with his offhand 10,000 times. It's part of his bag that when you get up into him, as Royce O'Neal was, he's just going to try to create a little bit of space with a little bit of this. His hand is cupped. Yeah. It's not like he took his balled fist and tried to whack him in the privates. Yeah. He didn't do that.
But, Skip, again, intent only matters. Okay. Manslaughter and murder. Yeah. The victim is just as dead, whether you intended to kill him or not. So the defendant, the only person that intent matters to is the defendant.
Okay.
The victim is just as dead. James Harden hit him whether he intended or not. The man is doubled up on the floor. Whether he tried to, Joel Embiid tried to kick him or not.
Okay. I think Royce O'Neal's going to be okay.
Man,
he's going to be okay. I think he's going to live.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, but it happens, Skip. I mean, I've seen guys. I know a guy that lost one of his in a very similar situation.
Okay. It can happen. I got it.
But I hear you laughing in the background too, Jed. Don't think I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
I think it's time to move on from this subject before we tell any more anecdotes. Because I definitely don't want more details of what you just mentioned, Shannon. Instead, guys, let's move on and talk about the Clippers. How did Russell Westbrook look last night with no Kawhi and no Paul George? That's coming up after this break.
My professor hat.
And I won't back down.
No Kawhi, no Paul George, but in Russ we trust. Russell Westbrook scored 30 points in the Clippers' 129-124 home loss to the Suns. Westbrook had 12 assists, but also ended with 6 turnovers. 11 of 23 from the field was his final stat line. Shannon, give Russ a letter grade for last night.
I gave him an A. Because he played hard, he's still skilled. He's competing on both ends of the court. He's not taking time off on the defensive end. You see the block shots, you see the steals he's getting. And Skip, you look at the last 2 games, he's been sensational offensively. You know what? He had 6 turnovers. I wish he had 3. But anytime you can get a 2-to-1 turnover to assist ratio, you can live with that. So 12-6, I can live with that. I can live with the effort. He gave me 30 points. He gave me 12 assists. How many rebounds did Russ give me?
8.
He gave me 8 rebounds, 1 offensively. 5 or 6 from the free throw line, 3 or 7 from the three-point line. I got no qualms whatsoever. They probably needed 2 or 3 more Russell Westbrooks last night, and they probably would have pulled that game off even without Kawhi and Paul George. Skip, I got no problem with Russ. Playing 38 minutes a game, only played 29 with the Lakers, and he did this without Paul George. And we know he's capable. He needs to be either first or second dog, not the third option. And T. Lue, for whatever T. Lue is telling him, is resonating more than what Frankie V told him and D. Ham told him.
That's a fact.
For whatever the case may be, Skip, I don't know.
Or what LeBron James told him.
Whatever LeBron told him. But it seems to me that Paul George said, look, Russ, hey, be you. Russ, and PG speak like, look, bro, I had my greatest season with this cat. So I ain't got nothing negative to say about him. But Skip, I thought he played out. The last 2 games, they didn't lose this game because a lot of times, Skip, we look and say, well, look at he had 10 turnovers and he shot 27% from the 3 and he shot this percent from the field. You cannot say Russ was the reason that they lost these last 2 games. You might not want to say he's one of the reasons why they won the first one because he was 3 of 19. But he did other things. The last 2 games, Skip, he's been scoring the basketball. He's been rebounding at the basketball. He's been facilitating the offense. I gave him an A.
Okay. I'm going to give you this. The last 2 games, Russell Westbrook has played as well as I've ever seen him play. I mean, ever back to his best, youngest days in Oklahoma City.
Right.
But I've also, maybe I should disqualify myself, I've watched him so long and so carefully that he has become, in my mind's eye, more trouble than he's worth. And I can't get over the fact that the player with the highest IQ in basketball, LeBron James, wanted him badly and then didn't want him at all. And we spent hours on this show talking about how can the Lakers get out from under Russ. I can't get out of my head the fact that the entire Lakers crowd at the Crypt or at the first-year Staples would collectively rise and groan a no when he started to shoot his 3-point jumpers even from the short corner.
Right.
And it got so bad that you were out of your mind about being stuck with Russ. And yet when they did have to give up one of their future draft picks, the 2027 first rounder that's moderately protected, they gave it to Utah to say, would you just take him off our hands? Obviously, Utah was still vaguely in playoff play-in contention. And did they say, come on in, we need you, Russ?
No, I was told that any team that traded for Russ, even going back last year, because Skip, we had this conversation, even at the trade deadline last year, and what I was told, any team that was willing to trade for Russ wanted him to commit to being bought out.
Okay.
So nobody's surprised by this.
Okay, so he hit the open market, and the best coach in basketball said, I can do this. the best coach in basketball for the team that lives in the basement at the crypt said, I'll show the Lakers what I can do with Russell Westbrook. Well, obviously, he was coming off the bench for Darvin Ham, and suddenly he's thrust into the starting lineup for a Clippers team that is actually, to me, when he joined them, they're a little better than the Lakers overall. They're deeper, but they need their superstars to be able to play. Well, last night, neither superstar could play, and all of a sudden, Russ is in the spotlight, so there's some expectations, and he met them.
And then don't you think he played like a superstar?
Oh, did he?
I think the biggest thing, Skip, I think the biggest thing that helped Russ is that he knows that if he makes a mistake, he's not going to get side-eyed or he's not going to get taken out the game. I think that's one of the greatest things for Patrick Mahomes. He knows if he makes a mistake, Skip, he throws a no-look interception.
I'll buy that.
He throws it behind his back, and he ain't going to say a word to him. Get him next time, player.
Okay.
And so that's what T. Lue. Skip, you said LeBron, one of the highest IQs, wanted Russ.
The highest.
Okay.
He just is.
One of the great.
And I'll put LeBron's basketball IQ up there with Magic's, and that's as high as I can go.
One of the greatest team builders wanted him also, Jerry West. He's one of the great
I assume he did. I don't know that for a fact, but I think he had a hand in it.
I think you don't bring Jerry West into an organization and not let him have some say.
I'm with you.
So with that,
he's just an advisor. But go ahead. Yes,
he was an advisor where Golden State.
He was.
He's been the Lakers. Those '80s Lakers team.
No, there's never been anybody better in the long run. Even though.
RC?
I assume it's true that Jerry West did not want to draft Magic Johnson.
Right. But he drafted James Worthy. He brought in Bob McAdoo, Michael Thompson.
He saw Kobe coming.
Kobe.
Yes.
He signed Shaq.
Listen, we don't have enough show to
traded for Robert Ory, Rick Fox.
It's unbelievable. Guy's got genius.
Yeah. So
and usually great players don't have that kind of eye for the talent.
He might be the greatest as far as basketball.
Because Michael Jordan is the worst. Okay. So when I think about a man who has been on 6 teams in 5 seasons, but he's a locked first ballot Hall of Famer, a top 75 player, it's just hard for me to let my eyes believe what they're seeing because last night he was Steph Brook. He wasn't Westbrook. He was Steph Brook because he was shooting threes with authority and conviction. But then I start thinking, well, he always does.
Right.
A lot of them miss badly.
Right.
He came into these playoffs having shot for the regular season, a lot of it with L.A., obviously, 28.6% from 3. He was the third worst three-point shooter in all of basketball. Sometimes he was the first worst, second worst, but he ended the third worst. Okay, so he shot one shot last night, an air ball that missed 2 feet to the left. And I'm saying, what? How can you be this hot and that cold on that shot? Didn't bother him a lick. Okay, so now I get to my grade. Big picture. I give you all your points because I can't argue. I'm in awe of how he's played, especially last night, because the first game he should have been 3 for 20, and Booker loses his mind, Devin Booker, and goes and fouls him on some kind of weird fadeaway in the lane, which was a forced-up shot that didn't require a foul for him to miss to go 3 for 20. And then Book goes to the other end, and yes, Russ did foul Book. He got him, slapped hands with him, and Book looks to the referee, you're not going to call that. The ball's still live, and the one great thing about Russell Westbrook, he will not quit until the ball is dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he slaps it off his knee, and it's game over. So last night, before I give you my final letter grade, I got to show you these turnovers because they're Laker variety bad. They're the kind of turnovers that used to drive you out of your mind, where you would hang your head over there like in shame of, this man's a Los Angeles Laker, a guy who grew up a Laker fan. Let's see these turnovers because they're the kind that you just, you're better than that. If you're a top 75 player, you don't do this. Zubac from the back, he wasn't even looking at you. Okay, and that leads to a Book run out 3, sort of a semi-break. And then, okay, I don't know what you're thinking. He's not sure what he's thinking. He's definitely not sure. That's Laker-esque right there. And then, oh, God. See, if I'm Ty Lue, that you had issue with that. It was borderline, but he was already throwing it the wrong direction. Book got in his way. Okay. But if I'm Ty Lue, the best coach in basketball, we agree. I'm sitting over there watching these plays thinking, what are you thinking? But Ty has gotten his mind right where he's saying, I'm going to live with that because it's borderline more trouble than it's worth. Because, listen, those turnovers, the first 4 came in the first half. They're close to throwing you out of the game, right? He's going to turn you over so badly that you're going to be the game is going to be lost in the first half.
So, Skip, he had 4 in the first half, only 2 in the second half. But guess what, Skip? He had 12 assists.
Okay, so production tolerance.
2 to 1. 2 to 1. That's all you can ask for, an assist to turnover, 2 to 1.
Okay, but 12 to 6?
Yeah, that's 2 to 1.
And I promise you, and I didn't have the heart to go this far, but I could have showed you 4 more plays in the second half where he throws the ball away and it's loose and it's tipped up and somehow the Clippers recover the fumble.
Intent. You told me we don't know what would have happened, but he got the ball back.
So for me, I'll give him a B because
give him an A. It's the only time that you ever gonna give him an A.
Okay, I can't live with the turnovers are just so bad.
Can you live with 12 assists?
Yeah.
Can you live with 30 points?
Okay, you talk me into. I'll give him a B plus. How can you give him an A with those turnovers? How can you give him an A?
He got 12 assists.
He shot an air ball 3 that I swear it missed 2 feet wide left. 2 feet?
What about the free throws? Can they interest you in 5 or 6?
Listen, he came into this playoff series having shot in the regular season 66.5% from the free throw line. He used to be
what
an 80%.
What is he shooting right now, though?
Well, he's lighting them up.
Like 90% right now?
And he went to the line the other night in a clutch situation and went
exactly.
Swish.
So you should give him A for that right there.
Okay. Well, it's just hard. Okay. They are down 2 games to 1. That's all.
Man, that ain't his fault.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
So you gonna blame the 2 losses on Russ?
Well, again, he got lucky in the first the one game that they won.
Yeah.
He was very lucky. It wasn't his fault in the end.
Yeah, he was the reason they won. 6 rebounds in the fourth quarter.
Should have been the reason they lost.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, I'm just telling you the truth.
I tried, Russ.
Yeah.
I gave you 8 on.
In Russ, you trust.
Yep. Only in this series, though.
An A and a B plus.
B
I think those are the highest marks either one of you have ever given
That's
Russ.
true.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right, gentlemen. Let's move on. This Warriors series, do you think they're going to be able to even things up with the Kings this weekend? This might be my favorite series of the first round. Oof. Let's discuss when we come back.
And I won't back down.
I kind of thought this might happen when the Warriors returned home. They beat the Kings 114-97 last night in Game 3. That is the Warriors' first win of this series. Now, Game 4 Sunday, the Warriors 7.5-point favorites, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Shannon, prediction time. Who do you think wins Game 4?
Warriors. The series is going back to Sacktown, tied 2-2. The Warriors know they need Game 4, Skip, to put the pressure solely back on Sacramento.
Absolutely.
Because they know if they get Game 5 in Sacramento, Sacramento knows they're not coming back to Sacktown for Game 7. So this is the utmost important. And to see the Warriors and the Warriors the way they fought. And like Steph said, hey, y'all talk about Draymond's history. We got a history here too. And we fight to the very end. Guys made plays. They stepped up. Golden State took care of the basketball a little better. 15 turnovers in Game 1, 20 turnovers in Game 2, 11 turnovers last night with 31 assists. Could I interest you in that? Mm-hmm. Well, that's the difference in the ball game when they take care of the ball. And Draymond's going to come back. What do I expect from Draymond? Him to be Draymond. Draymond ain't going to come back and give me 25, 12, and 8. Mm. That ain't what he does. He'll probably come back and give you 8, 8, and 8. That's who he is, Skip. Give you 6, somewhere between 6 and 9 assists, somewhere between 7 and 10 rebounds, and he'll give you somewhere between 4 and 8 points. If he give you double-digit points, you're like, whoo, man, Draymond really helped us out on the scoring bit. But that's what he is. He'll give you good, solid defense, although they played defense really well last night. I don't know if that was great defense. I think the Kings missed a lot of easy shots that they were knocking down in the first 2 games, Skip. Yep. They missed last night. And we know that's going to happen. Nobody's going to shoot 50, 60% from the floor all, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a series. So I expect the Warriors to win. I expect this series to go back to Sacktown, tied 2-2. But I picked the Warriors to win. You did. The series. I feel very confident in my position.
You do?
I think I'm in the catbird seat again.
Really?
I do.
Huh. I think the Warriors think they're in the catbird.
Yeah, of course they should.
I thought they actually over-celebrated a Game 3 win last night, but to them, it was do or die. To them, it was, we got to dredge it up one last great time because we got history. And they did. And it was very predictable what was going to happen last night because they wanted to show the world we don't have to have Draymond Green. He's not the guts and glue player, the absolute gotta-have player that we missed when we lost games 5, 6, and 7 in the 2016 finals and lost our 3-1 lead when he got suspended. So
he was only suspended one game, Skip. Don't make it seem like he was suspended all 3. He was just suspended for game 5.
But it was the turning point game, and it was back at Oracle.
Yeah.
Your team featuring LeBron and Kyrie
dropped 41 apiece,
and they took it to him, and they reversed the momentum so badly in their favor that Golden State and Steph could never get it back.
No.
Okay, so I think the script will get flipped in this game, which will be Sunday. I believe that the visiting team Sacramento, who, by the way, was 25-16 on the road, best record in the road record in the West.
Yes.
I think they got buzzsawed in 2 last night. I think they got hit by a tidal wave of emotion and energy that they, as you say, summoned up. That they rose from the near grave last night. And it was predictable to me that they were going to win that game because Steph was going to say, not in my house.
Right.
But it felt like a Game 7. It feels like they played a Game 7, and they won't have near the energy or emotion for Game 4 that they had for Game 3.
Let's give that they fed up that crowd. You know that energy is going to be in that building.
Okay. I also know Sacramento ain't afraid of no Golden State. And I do believe that Sacramento's secret weapon is a guy who no-showed last night, and that is Malik Monk, once a Los Angeles Laker. Malik Monk comes off the bench and fire starts for the Sacramento Kings. And he is a secret weapon that is very difficult to stop when he gets ahead of steam and when he gets going. Last night, he shot 1 of 9 from the floor. He missed all 4 of his 3-point shots. Can't happen, won't happen again.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen because, Skip, anytime Golden State can outscore you with their bench, when you got, like you mentioned, you got that fire starter and Malik Monk on there, and you got Davion Mitchell. You've got to do better. Skip, I don't know what happened to Keegan Murray. Skip, I don't know. Maybe the moment.
He's just a kid.
He's a rookie.
He's a rookie.
Yeah, man, and it's hard because, you know, they hadn't been in the playoffs in a very, very long time. There's a lot of expectation.
Okay, well, he just set the rookie record for 3 points.
And he can't be. He might make 1 a game.
He doesn't look sure of himself when he's shooting these playoff threes.
Yeah, man, that thing different. Okay. It's different.
Right. But I think he'll find himself because he's too good not to.
He needs to because he damn sure lost.
I think he'll settle in at some point to the pressure and expectation. And as everybody always says, playoff basketball is so different than regular season.
The speed, the intensity. The speed and intensity. Oh, yeah.
It's night and day.
Oh, yeah. The coaches there, you feel it, Skip. I mean, all that feel good, all that laughing and kiki going on. No, because there's finality to this.
There's finality.
Ain't no next week, hey, that was just 1 loss. Hey, we still got 15 more. We got 8 more. No, you got no more.
All right. So the key is that Sacramento can't get hit in the mouth and knocked on the floor right off the jump, right off the tip. That they have to fight fire with fire, and they have to make some threes, and Malik has to come off the bench and give them a jump start with the second unit, and they just need to hang in the game because I believe they're a better fourth quarter team than Golden State is.
I don't know. Better execution in the clutch. 5 minutes a game within 5 points, yes. Because we know what they got, De'Aaron Fox. They got the best clutch based statistically.
He is. He's the best statistically clutch shooter.
And they were the best team.
Yeah.
So with that being said, but Skip, you got to get me close.
Okay.
I mean, I might be willing to jump. I mean, hey, jump. Can you get the net a little closer to me? I'll jump 3 stories. But can you get the net just a little closer? I don't want to jump out. Just let me jump down.
This game has to be in question entering the fourth quarter. And in question probably be within 3 points to me.
I think 6. I think 6 or less.
Okay. All right.
You can't be 15.
You can't. 6 would scare me if I were the Kings, but whatever.
Oh, headed to the 4th?
Yeah, because it's Golden State at home, and they were 30-8 at home.
The question is, did you have the lead at the half? Now, if you had the lead at the half and you down 6 going into the fourth, that's a different story.
Okay.
If they had a big lead and you whittled it down, you got it under 10 heading into the fourth.
All right. Okay. This is just me. I will take De'Aaron Fox over Steph Curry in a close fourth quarter of a playoff game, even at Golden State. I'll still take De'Aaron Fox.
Oh, okay, we'll go and get that do on it then.
How much?
What you want? You want 1 case or 2 cases?
Okay, the spread is
No, we ain't doing no spread. Spread, what kind of spread you talking about? Miracle Whip?
Yeah, Miracle
You
Whip.
Hellman's? I mean, what kind of spread? Bad spread?
I don't eat mayonnaise.
Okay, what kind of spread you talking?
I'm talking about a point
Mustard?
spread. The odds makers are saying this is a rout.
No, don't do that. Skip,
Well,
don't
look,
skip that. It's Friday.
7 and a
It's
half.
Friday. Everybody going to the weekend. The weather's going to be beautiful out here. The weather's going to be in the high 80s.
Okay.
It's going to be beautiful. Don't do that. Don't ruin it. Don't rain on me with a spread.
I'm asking, do you have the courage of your convictions? Do
You-
you believe in the team?
Hello. You just asked me for 7 points, and you told me, do I have the courage?
Well, you made the case that this is going to be a stomp.
No, I didn't.
It's going to be a Draymond Memorial stomp.
I ain't mentioned nobody. All I'm
Right?
saying is he's going to come back and give you Draymond numbers. But you just, hold on. You just spent 5 minutes talking about De'Aaron Fox. You talked about the Sacramento and clutch being clutch, and now you want 7 points.
I'll take 3 right now. I'll go less than half of the spread. I'll take 3.
No,
For
Skip,
one case.
Skip,
One case.
We've been, hold on.
One case.
Hold on, tell me. We've been with all these playoffs.
Yeah.
We bet not one spread.
Well, no, you gave me. I got Miami at home +2 against your Bucks.
Yeah, but I'm saying
you gave me 2, so give me 3 on this. This is 7.5.
I give you 2. I'll make it even. You gave me 2. I give you 2.
Stupid bet I'm making, but
I ain't got it. Yeah, you see, I stuck my hand. I knew you was gonna do it.
I'm sorry.
I knew.
I am so front running. I'm Steph Curry. Front running was so. I have such a big lead. I'm going to give you some breaks.
Okay, I'll take them too. I'll take it. I'll get it back.
All right.
By the time we get to the Lakers,
I'll see you Monday.
minus a case or two. Minus
It's
2
making
cases.
it rain, dude.
Yeah, we are, Jenny.
I love it. Awesome stuff, guys. I love it. All right, I do need to get some thoughts from you before we wrap today's show on Joel Embiid and whether he should be suspended because of everything that unfolded last night. Let's talk about that when we come back.
And I won't back down.
Officials gave Joel Embiid a flagrant 1 last night after Joel kicked up on Nick Claxton. Charles Barkley says it's worse than Draymond Green's stomp. And of course, that stomp landed the Warriors forward an ejection, which equates to a 1-game suspension. Shannon, do you think Embiid should be suspended too?
Skip, it's just hard for me to suspend a guy that didn't get ejected from the game. I think that would seem a little excessive to me. Now, whatever action you wanted to take in the game, Skip, if you eject him from the game and said that was a flagrant foul and you want to suspend him after that, sure, no problem. We can debate that. Well, I don't think he should have been. But, Skip, it's going to be, yeah, you're going to lose me. You'll lose me. I don't know if you lose any other NBA fan, but if you suspend Joel Embiid, in which you did not eject him from the game, yeah, that's a bridge too far for me to get on, Skip. So I don't think he should. I get the Draymond situation because, Skip, there are 2 different issues. Because Draymond has a history, and you have to factor that in dealing with this situation. And Joel didn't just a year ago have a similar situation where he's egging on the crowd and he's carrying on with antics that's inappropriate for an NBA player, especially when the commissioner is sitting in the 2nd or 3rd row. So I believe Joel's situation is different than what transpired. Draymond was ejected. Draymond has a history. Joel Embiid was not ejected and does not have the history that Draymond does. So, no, I can't get behind a suspension if the guy wasn't ejected.
Okay. I was very good with the way they adjudicated this play as it happened in real time. I was fine with him getting a flagrant 1 instead of an ejectable flagrant 2.
Right.
But this league will sit back and react to opinion, and it'll start with that TNT opinion, and both Charles and Shaq wanted him out of that game.
Right.
And because he wasn't kicked out of that game, then I wonder if the NBA will start to fear we need to get some fans back. Like you're saying, they'll lose me if they do.
Yeah.
Well, they might be thinking, we've already lost a bunch of people. Maybe we need to go get them back because public opinion is swinging that he should have been gone. And now we have to make good on this. We got to do right by it by saying, okay, he'll be gone for a game 4 that won't look quite so bad because they're up 3-0.
But Skip, it does look. Draymond's history. Hell, I thought Jared Allen played on Julius Randle.
I did too.
What, the suspension or an ejection?
That was dangerous.
Yes.
That was submarine.
Now we can question why the hell Tibbs had him in the game at that point in the game.
That's a whole other issue.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah,
I think what he did was more egregious than what Joel Embiid and I hate to compare, but it looked like it was. I mean, Julius Randle could have really got injured. Skip.
Hey, I winced, man, because that is precarious.
Yeah, because you got no control, Skip.
No control.
Because if you try to break,
he's a huge man going full speed.
If you try to brace yourself, you do what Gary Payton II did. You dislocate your elbow.
You do.
If you don't, you come down and you might break something.
Everything's in danger.
Yes.
Knees are in danger.
Yes.
Everything.
But Skip, it's just hard for me to get behind. The guy, you gave him a flagrant. He continued to play. And you said after the game, say, you know what, Joel? Yeah, you're going to have to sit Saturday out or you're going to have to sit Sunday out. Nah.
Would I be shocked if they suspend? I would not be shocked.
You wouldn't be shocked?
I was actually surprised they suspended Draymond.
Okay.
Because I was fine with Draymond not being kicked out of that game in the vacuum. But now we get in the larger context of this. And to your point, in Draymond's career, he has by far, since he entered the league, the most technical fouls. He got 169. Joel has 58, which is not exactly.
Skip, I'm not. Look here. I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised. It wasn't as surprising that Draymond. I was like, I didn't think they would, but it didn't catch me. Totally like, man, they suspended Draymond for that. It wasn't one of those.
Okay, he's been ejected 17 times in his career. Joel's been ejected 1 time in his career.
Right.
He's had 19 flagrant fouls in his career. Draymond has. And then we get to just flat out suspensions. He's been suspended 4 times to Joel's 1. Again, it's not that Joel's been the most upstanding citizen because he is not. But he can't hold a candle to what the other man. The other man dominates all those negative stats since he entered the league. He's number one across the board.
Right.
So when we talk about body of work, we talk about what Joe Dumars called a repeat offender.
Yeah.
Well, Draymond's the ultimate repeat offender.
Plus he lost the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Given his history, you don't get the benefit of the doubt.
It's
you didn't say that was an accident. Oh man, I can see what. No, you forfeited that.
Yeah.
Like 8 years ago.
And so much, as Joe Dumars said, conduct detrimental.
Yeah.
Okay. Joel doesn't have a lot of conduct detrimental because even during the review of this play, he just went and sat on the bench. So he wasn't trying to incite the Brooklyn crowd. So he wasn't reacting to the crowd.
I still don't know what Draymond was trying to do with the Sacramento crowd.
I don't know.
Okay, while they reviewing it, okay, you sitting down, you're like, oh, man, I don't think, I'm talking to my teammate, Jordan Poole or Iggy. Man, look, the man had my ankle, so I just stepped. I didn't have no place to go. But the carrying on and all this, okay, Draymond, the charge has been upgraded to a flagrant 2. Draymond Green is ejected from the game. Get your stuff, security walk you out. You don't start running around the arena. You don't jump up on the scorer's table and try to get the crowd to about y'all this, y'all that. Come on, man.
I feel like Draymond has become such a force on social media that he feels like he has to live up to his reputation for his social media fans.
Right.
And he does. And it helps promote his podcast when he acts out before and after these things.
Right.
But the league is like, nope. No.
But I think the thing is, if you give a good product, people watch. I think he has a lot of interesting things to say because he's a current player and he's talking about things that just happened.
I got it.
And everybody looks at Draymond, actually knows that he understands the game. He's a very high IQ basketball player.
Yeah.
So he has compelling content. I haven't watched a whole lot of it. I don't know if I just saw the one that he sat down with Kevin Durant. Yeah. But I don't know if he has a whole lot of guests or he's just talking one-on-one. But I think he has great content. I don't think he needs to do stuff like what he did in that moment.
I got it.
To sell it.
Yep.
Sixers, by the way, lead that series 3-0.
Oh,
and
it's
I
over.
sure wouldn't mind if Joel Embiid had a 1-game suspension. All right, guys, we got to move along because we have breaking news out of the NFL. Some new suspensions just got handed down. We'll give you the very latest here on Undisputed next.
And I won't back down.
Breaking news out of the NFL this morning. 5 players have now been suspended for gambling. Jameson Williams of the Lions and Stanley Berryhill of the Commanders suspended 6 games. Meanwhile, Lions players Quintez Cephas and CJ Moore, plus the Commanders' Shaka Toney, have all been suspended for at least 1 year. The Lions have now released Cephas and Moore. Shannon, your thoughts on this?
Dumb. In a press release, gambling policy prohibits anyone in the NFL from engaging in any form of gambling in any club, league facility, or venue, including practice facility. A wise man learned from others' mistakes. A fool will learn from his own. Did Calvin really just not get suspended last year from gambling, dum-dums?
Yep.
So guess what I'm going to do, Skip? I'm going to go do the exact same thing Calvin really did and see if I can skate through it. Do you realize that the NFL paid lots and lots and lots of money to catch dummies?
They caught him. Yep.
Skip, let me ask you a question. The guys that got suspended, got suspended and got released already, you think they could have won what they lost in contracts?
Good question.
You hustling backwards.
Yeah.
That's what we call you selling your money. You must be giving away hundreds for 20s.
That's true.
But Skip, I just don't understand. He give it and we give it back. This is, God, what is it? Skip, what am I missing?
They were betting on their phones at the team's facility, and you can't. Now, the NFL announced they did not bet on NFL games.
The ones they got suspended, they got for a year, must have bet on NFL games.
That's what the Lions said. They didn't bet on NFL. Maybe they're talking about.
No, they're talking about the Lions. Jameson Williams and the other guys, they betted on facilities, but it wasn't on football games.
Okay.
These other dum-dums had to be betting on football games to get suspended for a year.
Okay, knowing many NFL owners and executives the way I have for many years, when gambling comes up, nothing are they more fearful of, because nothing will threaten the very credibility of their product like gambling.
I got to believe what I'm seeing on TV is on the up and up, Skip.
That is correct, because the worst case scenario is a player gets in a hole, can't pay his debts, and agrees to point shave to eliminate said debt. That's the worst case scenario that they're trying to eliminate.
Yes.
And I don't blame them. They should crack down just as hard. They could be even harsher in their penalties, because this is the worst.
That's it.
It's why injuries have to be declared during the week, because they don't want insiders. They don't want trainers.
I got something that nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody knows that.
What you got?
Star isn't going to play this week.
You know, Shannon Sharpe ain't playing this week.
Yeah, there you go.
Really?
That wouldn't have mattered that much.
Skip, I don't skip. I'm just trying, for the life of me. Let's just say Jameson Williams was the first-round pick. Do you realize
12th overall.
They traded up to get him?
They did. Yeah.
Bro, you tried to win you tried to win little peanuts.
These would be little peanuts.
You gonna risk your career.
Yep.
You probably got a $10, $12, $15 million contract, and you willing to risk that to win what? Guys, you betting on NFL games on what sport? Golf. You can bet on yourself in golf, Skip. Phil Mickelson can bet. I'm gonna win the Masters.
It's an individual sport. Yep.
Nobody else is at risk but you.
But you. Okay.
But Skip, who was that got suspended? Paul Hornung got suspended.
We're going way back, but they did.
The guy from Detroit Lions, he was a movie star.
Alex Carey. Yep. It used to be a huge problem that we thought they had control of, and now it's starting to rear its ugly head.
Skip, all these gambling sites, these apps, the NFL done spent billions.
To police it, to monitor.
Your name?
Yeah.
Your name is in that system.
Boom. Gotcha. Yep.
NFL. Is Quintez Cephas, is he still an active player?
Yes, he is.
What about CJ Moore? Well, they just placed a bet on the Bears to beat.
That's what's happening. Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Boy, sometimes I think if these guys had brains, they walk backwards.
Good point.
I love your analogy, Shannon. Ironically, guys, this news breaks just as Sports Illustrated releases a big article on Calvin Ridley and his return after his suspension from gambling.
It was just a year ago, Skip.
Mm-hmm. I got it.
They betting why he's suspended.
All right, let's go back.
They gonna happen to us. They gonna catch us. We smart. Okay.
They'll suspend Calvin Ridley. I would think they'll suspend anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody's above the law. All right, guys, let's go back to the association when we come back. Should the Celtics be wary of the Sixers in the next round? Let's discuss in just a moment. Okay, over in the East, the Celtics 5-point favorites versus the Hawks. They can now go up 3-0 in this series. The 76ers also up 3-0 in their series, which means they're on track to face off against the Celtics in the next round. Shannon, you've been backing the Celtics all this year. How much do you fear the 76ers now?
Not much at all. I think the Celtics are too good. Their starters are too good, and they have too much depth. They have a Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. They have the Sixth Man of the Year, Malcolm Brogdon. Derek White has been playing really well since he's inserted into the starting lineup. So I just think the depth with those two wings, that law firm of Tatum and Brown, I think that's too much for Philly to overcome.
I've got the MVP. You are about to be in big trouble because you can't stop Joel Embiid.
We can stop him.
No.
Y'all can't stop them two, that law firm.
I got James Harden and Tyrese Maxey.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
This is going to get real good.
I want 5 cases right now.
Okay.
I want 5 cases right now.
You got it.
Let's
Done.
see. Y'all put
Done.
some dew on it. It's going to have to wait till next week, though, gentlemen. We're out of time. We'll see you Monday morning. Have a great weekend.